I think there has already been spent probably about 2 weeks of work towards this from my side, at least. Yes, the power area is worth mentioning. It is definitely the most significant step we've made so far towards Joomla 4. Well, one of the major changes in Joomla 4 is the introduction of namespacing. And most who have used JCB to build components uh, had the option to add custom code in many places of your extension of your component without taking any thought of namespacing. This is a problem because JCB cannot anticipate all these custom code ignoring namespacing. So we added the power area so that you would move all your custom code out of your component into its own classes, into its own better PHP approach to basically development, and then use it in your extension. And so that process will show developers, or sort of force them probably, to learn namespacing and to understand how to make use of Joomla, its framework, its various other classes within their classes, making use of namespacing. So this is very critical. Moving any of the extensions to Joomla 4 needs to start with developers moving their custom code into the power area of JCB. Well, yes, we did originally think we may add some functionality to catch depreciated or deprecated code, but this extra layer is quite complicated for JCB, and something that we should rather try and achieve outside of the project. So there's been discussions that the Jet Checker, the actual extension, validating extension of Joomla, that this may be the best place to accommodate that. To use the Jet Checker to test your PHP, whether it is actually good syntax, and also to catch deprecated classes and function calls in your code, and then when you have that information, to come back to JCB and make the necessary changes. So yes, it's going to be on the developer to take care of their custom code. So we are doing exactly what I've just explained. We are moving various areas in JCB that is not having direct the relation to, for example, the model class. It's not supposed to be in the model class. It should be in its own class. We are moving these things out into the power area, and then through namespacing and auto-loading, introducing it back into the places where we want to use it. And this approach is also introducing to us all other kinds of things to consider, which we are then making the necessary adjustments in JCB to take care of that as we're doing it for JCB, and see what are some of the pitfalls and drawbacks. We make the adjustments to the compiler so that when anyone else is doing the same, that we're already taking care of things that they may encounter. So this is what we are doing at the moment right now. I would say the refactoring of the compiler is also a major task that still is happening. And this refactoring is to actually help others become more involved. The current architecture of the compiler is commonly explained as a superclass approach, and it's considered bad practice. I know that though it is actually stable and works very well. as all of you have experienced. But since it's unfamiliar to many developers, we'll have to take this step and refactor the compiler into a more expected design pattern, which others may more easily understand and they're more familiar with. And in that process, we will be able to more easily rather, introduce the Joomla 4 behavior where it differs from Joomla 3 in a way that it makes it more convenient in the future to just add an extra module or an extra class and extend it by basis of a interface sort of controlling the behavior and then extending it more easily with future changes in Joomla. This has always been part of our vision that JCB would help us transition through versions, and it served us well within Joomla with the minor version changes. It's the first major version change that we're now going through, and obviously in this first major version change we are becoming aware of just exactly how many things we didn't maybe anticipate, or in fact how we could do it better. And this refactoring of the compiler will in fact help us better accommodate future changes. So it is necessary. Yes, this is a good question, and I know a number of developers have actually asked this already, and I have not yet been able to give them a really straight answer. Besides that, we've started a project in our Git system for moving to Joomla 4. I will be adding issues there, either those I'm working on or future things that needs to be done. So any one of them that can read those issues, make sense of what must be done, is able to communicate and take care of that if they like. Eventually we'll probably have a good roadmap and it will all be mapped out as we transition through the various complexities. I must be honest, I kind of look at what needs to be done at this point, go out, do that, try and make sure it's stable, and then push that out to everyone. That's how I've been moving forward slowly, taking care of things that may not seem obvious, but is necessary. And so other developers, if they can figure out the compiler, figure out maybe parts of JCB that is still needs to be refactored to the power area, all these kind of tasks, anyone who's able to do that without me giving many explanations are most welcome to get involved. Yes, time. It is always a challenge. I would want to have it finished at the latest beginning next year. I wouldn't want us to be taking any longer than that. So I am looking for the opportunity to invest more time towards this. I know that it will definitely happen. So it is really just a matter of time. Yes, the donations is always there, possible to free up some time. So we have a page on Open Collective. The link is there from the repository to make a donation towards the transition, taking JCB to Joomla 4. Any financial contribution will be helpful and indeed speed up the process for us.